This is a poem about story in a place of conflict, in our place of conflict. And it's called If I Was Us, I Wouldn't Start From Here. I just wipe my hands on my trousers here. If I was us, I wouldn't start from here. Especially in a broken home like ours, where broken floors and windows feed the cold. Each generation has a sacred task: to tell a better story than it was told. For we are reared by stories in such places, clawing through the bitter draughts of these for something we can truly get a hold of that seems to help us off our shattered knees. The kind of myth my generation supped was we have better heroes than they've got, for ours are much more decent to a fault. And if they've a rotten apple, we've the rot. Our steps now are at best precise and formal, like dressage horses going nowhere well. Our peace, a thing we part-baked in the 90s and left to prove and got used to the smell. And yet, even in this half-peace we are living, where death is only half dead, I am sure that we could learn to change our tunes completely. But if I was us, I wouldn't start from here. If I was us, I wouldn't start from here, for here's a swamp we've stood in for too long. We haven't kept our heads above the water and haven't seen a thing where we have gone. And we should fly now, frightened for our children, kick off the bottom, rush towards the air and break the water into different daylight and gasp and say what we can see from there. For especially in a broken home like ours, where broken floors and windows feed the cold, each generation has a sacred task: to tell a better story than it was told. A story made as honey is in bees from things that we have found outside ourselves. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but anyway, I'm going to say something about the environment that I'm sitting in here. So I'm Damien Gorman, and I'm with Kieran Griffiths. I've made the Theatre of Witness piece called Anything Can Happen, 1972, Voices from the Heart of the Troubles, which I think some of you are watching tonight. Now, this is a mouthful, but I am at the minute the international resident artist at the Theatre Peacebuilding Academy here based at the Playhouse, and that is a mouthful. For me, if the arts are about anything, it's about giving people somewhere to go. And there's times you think you have nowhere to go except the wall that you're up against. And if you go right through that wall, it's going to damage you. So this thing that we're all engaged in seems to conjure up spaces that you can take yourself to, I hope and believe. Somebody said to me one time that grief is maybe one of the toughest things. Grief is love which has nowhere to go. You know, you're just handless. You can't put your arm around somebody. So when we were told we couldn't have a physical audience present here live in the theatre, we thought, well, maybe we could say to people who have suffered loss through the Troubles or through other events in life, if you have that sort of grief, which seems to have nowhere to go, you could maybe take it to the surfaces of these red chairs, and you could place a wee memento, a photograph, an object that conjures somebody up for you and makes them present, and actually as well gives our people on stage an audience to perform to. So that is what this is about. What this is about, incidentally, is my brother is represented on one of the chairs, and this says more blacks, more dogs, more Irish, and that's for Brenton as well, because when he went to London in the 70s for the first time, there were cards in the window saying no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. So this is for him. Okay, so welcome to the conference. That's about as much as I have to say. I hope you'll maybe get seeing the thing later on tonight. And I'm now handing you over to the chair of the Playhouse, Mike Moriarty.
Thanks very much, Damien. Hi, everybody. I would like to welcome you all today to our wonderful Playhouse. The Playhouse was started 28 years ago by the equally wonderful Pauline Ross with a budget of £300. Pauline and her team have fought adversity and taken advantage of opportunity over the years to build the Playhouse into what it is today. I would like to congratulate the team for again overcoming adversity and rising to the challenge of delivering today's content through a medium which is relatively new to us. I would like to welcome our patrons who we haven't seen for over 6 months. I would also like to acknowledge absent friends such as Artes University of the Arts, who were scheduled to spend time with us this year but under the circumstances couldn't. I would also like to welcome our partners in the project, Hollywood Trust, Thomas Darcy McGee Foundation, Queen's University Belfast. And I would like to thank the Advisory Committee. Last but not least, I would like to thank our funders. The Theatre and Peacebuilding Academy is an EU-funded peace programme designed to support peace and reconciliation in Northern Ireland and the border region. It is managed by the Special EU Programmes Body, SEUPB. Match funding for the project has been provided by the Executive Office and the Department of Rural and Community Development. We are grateful for your support. Now I'd like to welcome the Deputy First Minister, Michelle O'Neill, and Junior Minister Gordon Lyons from the Executive Office.
Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to join you virtually today to mark the success of the Theatre Peacebuilding Academy. And thanks to Elaine for inviting us to be part of this great event. You all, no doubt, have faced a difficult time to deliver this project, but the way that you've stepped up to make it happen in the most challenging of circumstances is a testament to your good work and commitment to creating a united community. Today's Art in Place of Conflict conference will create the space to discuss themes such as reconciliation and legacy, and this is so important to help bringing about a shared society where everyone is respected. I'm encouraged to see that you will also be discussing the Black Lives Matter movement, which is an important opportunity for us to explore and address how we each can support racial equality. These have been tough times for everyone, and we are very aware of the impact the pandemic is having on people's mental health and well-being. Great work has been done in supporting people to stay connected and engaged during this challenging time, and I thank everyone who has gone that extra mile just to do that. The arts play a vital role in helping to deliver good relations work, including the Together Building a United Community strategy. This project has done incredible work in capturing powerful individual stories. Not only do they help inform, but they help make us think differently and they change attitudes. So thank you for everything that you have done. I wish you every success with your conference today and the events that you will be delivering for the rest of this month. Congratulations for everything you have achieved so far. You should all be very, very proud.
I'm delighted to be able to join you for the opening of the Art in the Place of Conflict conference. This important international event brings together artists, educators, peace builders and citizens to explore the power of art in our society. We have a rich tradition of storytelling here in Northern Ireland, and we have a vibrant artistic community that brings these stories to life. There is much to celebrate about the way our creative industries contribute to our lives economically and culturally, but today is about the social contribution, the way that the arts connect people and help build understanding across communities with different experiences. The programme will showcase the talents of filmmakers, dramatists, writers and photographers on themes linked to both conflict and peace. Acclaimed artists from around the world will be able to join in a day of online talks, presentations, conversations and podcasts. There will also be a live streaming of the play Voices from the Heart of the Troubles by Damien Gorman and directed by Kieran Griffiths, which tells the story of 6 people in 1972, one of the worst years of the Troubles. The Executive, through the Together Building a United Community strategy, acknowledges and supports the unique role of the arts in both exploring the past and helping us to imagine a better future. We are pleased to support the Playhouse Theatre and Peacebuilding Academy in conjunction with the Holywell Trust, Thomas Darcy McGee Foundation and Queen's University Belfast in their work to create theatre and art to allow reflection, discussion and engagement with painful memories and envision a brighter future ahead. And never has a spirit of optimism and purpose been more needed than now. I'd like to congratulate Elaine and the Playhouse team for creating this amazing event and wish you all every success.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to introduce Jean McIntyre, Chief Executive Officer of SEUPB.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today at this closure event, and particularly on the day of this international conference. It's a real pleasure to help celebrate what you've achieved to date and to recognise the significant impact that you've had on the lives of so many through this project. We were delighted to be able to support it in the Peace 4 programme. I know this has been an extremely challenging time for those people working within the arts sector, and you've been so deeply affected by the lockdown restrictions that we all find ourselves working under. However, I must applaud you how quickly you adapted to the situation by moving a lot of the project content online without any drop in quality or production value. Many of our peace projects and indeed Interreg projects have had to do similar adaptations, but the dedication displayed by your staff stands out and speaks volumes about how important they believe this work is. The Theatre Peacebuilding Academy is in many ways unique across the Peace 4 programme. We were delighted to be able to support such an ambitious and thought-provoking and ultimately worthwhile project. The importance of arts as a medium for post-conflict healing is well researched and understood. The ability to express hurt through arts and music and other cultural activity is invaluable. It's very difficult at times, but it is so important. And it is that mixture of performance and very personal storytelling that has created such a safe environment through which the project can explore many of the traumatic experiences and consequences of the conflict and troubles in this region with a high degree of sensitivity and compassion. This work is so essential if we are to achieve long-term peace and reconciliation in this region and address the hurt and suffering that is still experienced by so many people today. And it was through careful and painstaking research that the project has supported open and honest dialogue, which has encouraged healing, and I am sure and I hope a form of post-traumatic growth for many of those involved. Every single production was an act of courage, and I'm very well aware that the feedback received from the audiences both in Northern Ireland and in the border region of Ireland was overwhelmingly positive. And I'd like to express my sincere admiration for all of the performers who displayed incredible bravery in becoming part of the project and sharing their lived experiences with audiences across the region. I'd like to express my thanks for all the researchers, technicians, artists, local and international, directors, project workers and the support staff who made the Theatre of Peacebuilding Academy a reality. Well done to all of you. And I would just like to conclude by recognising and acknowledging the match funding that this project received within the programme provided by the Executive Office in Northern Ireland and the Department of Rural and Community Development in Ireland. Both departments have been incredibly supportive of the Academy since its inception and recognise its importance in delivering upon the peace and reconciliation objectives of the EU Peace 4 programme. Thank you for inviting me to this virtual project event, and I hope that you enjoyed the rest of the conference today. Thank you.
Now, welcome to BBC journalist Fergal Keane, who knows the transformative power of humanising conflict by sharing people's lived experiences.
I'm delighted to be able to join you this morning. My only regret is that it's via Zoom and I can't be with you in person. But let me tell you at the outset just how grateful I am for all that you've done to promote the ideals of a civilized society. I've spent a great deal of my life going to the wars in places of conflict across the world. And in all of those places, art, and for me, principally in the form of poetry, drama, music, all kinds of literature, it's been my consolation and my inspiration. In particular, for me, the poems of Irish writers like Derek Mahon, Seamus Heaney, John Hewitt, Maeve McGuckie and Sinead Morrissey, Michael Longley, they've acted as a buttress against the horror I've witnessed. And I remember a particular morning in South Lebanon. I was in the city of Tyre during the war between Israel and Hezbollah in 2006. And I was woken up very early by the sound of shelling offshore. Naval gunboats were shelling. And it's a startling feeling to be woken up by explosions, as some of you indeed will know. And I looked around, and there on my bedside table was a copy of one of Michael Longley's books of poetry. And I opened it and I read from Ceasefire, his poem on the anniversary of the IRA ceasefire, in which he wrote, quoting the Iliad and that memorable moment when King Priam goes to Achilles to beg for the body of his son who's been killed by Achilles. And that these remarkable lines about reconciliation. I go down on my knees and do what must be done and kiss Achilles' hand, the killer of my son. Lines like that continually I come back to as I travel the world. But I also remember the music and the poetry of people in refugee camps. Nothing has moved me as much as the music played on a kora, that's a stringed instrument from West Africa, of beautiful melodies in a refugee camp in Sierra Leone. And this man had lost his home and he knew that he wouldn't be going back there anytime soon because of fighting. And yet he was making music. He was consoling the people around him. He was reaching out. I commend those of you who dedicate your lives to creating a space for art in places of conflict or places that are trying to recover from conflict. You are our frontline workers of the spirit. And we live in times of such uncertainty, of fear, intolerance. It's too easy in the fervid world of social media to forget what binds us as a human family. And art is the great reminder. Because great art can't be bigoted. It can't be hateful. It can't peddle lies. It can't avoid the shared challenges of the human condition and the complexity of divided places. The Playhouse didn't discover these values yesterday. For years, it's been a symbol of hope. And there's no better place, in my mind, to explore the subject of this conference, which is, and I quote, to explore the power of art by addressing conflict, war, pain, and hurt, with the aim of rehumanizing, healing, and educating those damaged by conflict. I wish you good luck. Keep going and keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you, Fergal. We're now going to kickstart the conference by showcasing the work of two local artists. Firstly, Declan Keeney, who's joined by Damien Gorman, and is followed by Peacemakers by Joe Campbell.